Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we have some amazingly massive reveals from Dave Filoni, the cast of Ahsoka, in talk of a potential season 2 of the Ahsoka Disney Plus show, Darth Vader, Baylan Skoll, and everything into those regards of what we saw with the Ahsoka show and what we have the potential to see in the future of the franchise. Of course, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop right on into it. In this video, we are going to be taking a read from StarWarsNewsNet.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. In a mammoth interview recently with Vanity Fair's Anthony Brezican, Dave Filoni and the main cast of Ahsoka finally are able to talk about their show. For one thing, they discuss Vader, their characters in the Ahsoka show, Baylan Skoll, and whether or not that they think there will be an Ahsoka season 2 in the future of the franchise. This is honestly very massive, and there's some big reveals here throughout this, so stay tuned for that. One of the first things addressed is the Darth Vader of it all. Why, bring him back or anything of that nature? Why bother with his character? Was that really him in the world between worlds? I think is another big question out there that we saw in the Ahsoka show, especially with episode 5. How did Hayden Christensen approach that character at this point in the Star Wars timeline is another question, and something else that they do reveal here as well. Rosier Dawson talks about what it means for Ahsoka now that she's finally been able to retcon with Anakin's legacy and kind of get that full round circle closure with, her former master, Anakin Skywalker, in the Ahsoka show in the world between worlds, and what that means for her now that she's moved past that trauma overall. She says that, in quote, she had a very particular idea of him, the Jedi Order, who she was, and all of that for a very long time until that image was shattered. The point we graduate to here is, yeah, he did some terrible things, and he also did some really great things, and it's always up into, how you choose the direction. She can look back at her own life. She's gone through some hardships that could have been the moment that turned her dark, but she didn't go there, so I think that she's starting to trust in herself. Maybe he's also a warning of what can still happen at that, but that's still significant in a positive way if you want it to be, of course. We were able to take a little bit more time to go, what does this feel like? What does this mean? And explore those choices that were to come of that kind of retconning. We've seen that with her already when she decided to leave the Jedi Order in the Clone Wars animated show. We saw that when she walked away from Anakin. There have been pivotal moments. This felt like that seminal moment again. This is a different rite of passage. We had so many moments of literal tears when filming episode 5. I have a video of some of us with the crew just watching when Darth Vader was walking up. We just wanted to be on the edge, just off camera, so we could watch him uncrumble with our own eyes and just take it all in. Are we really seeing what we're seeing right now? This is unbelievable. She says that right there, ending that quote right there, giving us a behemoth of an answer, a behemoth into the lens of what it was like working on the Ahsoka show here overall, like what it was like in the behind the scenes for one thing, and then also into the regards of like her own character of Ahsoka Tano herself, where she is at this time period, in a emotional kind of state. I think if for anything, the effects of seeing her former Jedi Master Anakin Skywalker, not Master necessarily technically, of course, but the idea of bringing him back and bringing her character that full closure and that full circle, really, as I had mentioned there, and also finally discussing a little bit about Darth Vader, like in the actual Ahsoka show as well himself, coming back, like the whole suit and everything of that nature, has to be honestly quite wild to actually see that unfold and be a part of that. One of the many things that Dave Filoni wanted to do in the Ahsoka show was to address the fallout of Ahsoka versus the Vader conflict in the Star Wars Rebels animated show. He says that, in quote, "While I had introduced him in Rebels, the idea that she came to understand that Anakin had become Darth Vader physically, I never really dealt with the fallout from that, the aftermath really. How does that affect somebody when a person that they really admired and looked up to turned out to be not the person that they thought they were? Are we really capable of a fall from grace? And what is forgiveness? What shape does that actually look like? Did I take the good parts of this person with me as well as the bad, or am I just the good? I thought that there were a lot of interesting challenges for her, ending that quote right there, really into the essence of what Ahsoka is feeling when seeing her former master, Anakin, and Darth Vader at the same time in the world between worlds, questioning herself there at the same time as well. Like, did I take the good things from him? Did I take the bad things from him? Did I take a bit of both? Am I going to turn evil type of scenario? Like, am I going to turn into the next Darth Vader? And like, not really being able to trust yourself, finding those integral internal struggles within yourself that are going to be challenging her in the Ahsoka show. We did see a lot of that, I think, in Ahsoka season 1, so to see more of that, explore more on with that in the future of the show here as well, is something I think that we're all looking forward to, really at that. And one thing that I've seen a lot of people mention is that, especially in the beginning episodes of the Ahsoka show, at the beginning, like the first 5 episodes, before she goes into the world between worlds, there were a lot of actually fan complaints at that Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka just looked so bleak and unemotional, really, and that's for a reason, and it's something of a transition that we do see. Actually, after she goes into the world between worlds, she comes out with a much more motivated type of feeling. You can really see that Jedi coming back in her and like saying, let's do this, let's go take on Thrawn and his army, let's go rescue Ezra Bridger, let's go do this type of scenario. That kind of feeling that she was bringing to the table, that wasn't something that we really saw in those first couple of episodes of Ahsoka before she goes into the world between worlds. She feels defeated, she doesn't have that closure, she looks depressed, and it's all for a reason. It's for that reason of that questioning herself and challenging herself with those internal struggles between herself and Darth Vader or Anakin. Anyone wondering if the Anakin Skywalker that we saw in the world between worlds was actually real or just a figment of Ahsoka's imagination is still left guessing, and still to be kind of something that remains out there, as Hayden Christensen deliberately played it vague at that. However, he displayed a great level of insight that comes from playing the character across the different eras. Hayden Christensen himself says that, in quote, "That's the beauty of how this episode is constructed, in my opinion. Inevitably, the audiences has to question what they're actually watching. Is this really the world between worlds? What is the world between worlds? Is this actually the spirit of Anakin Skywalker, or is this all in just Ahsoka's subconscious? Or we're just going down it, really, the yellow brick road as she's drowning and fighting for her life in this kind of imagination world?" I think that the episode provides a few really good clues, but it doesn't really spell it out for you exactly. There's a lot to unpack, potentially. I was really getting to play a version of this character that I hadn't before, and that was all-knowing, all-powerful Jedi Master who could, wield both sides of the Force, light and dark, at will, and maybe has the power to save Ahsoka's life, which also is very interesting, because that's the power that he was trying to achieve when he pledged himself to the dark side. I mean, that quote right there. I mean, yeah, having Hayden Christensen speak on this, for one thing, like himself, is so powerful, and it like really makes you get excited, I think, with this overall. And like him talking about Star Wars, for one thing, like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. But he himself is kind of leaving it vague, and I like that. Like, he kind of just leaves it up to your interpretation, and it also feels that it's something that he doesn't really feel that it's his, his will or his power to actually speak on it. That's more of a question left for debate from Dave Filoni as the writer and the creator of these characters, of this universe, and of this story that we're seeing unfold here in the Ahsoka show. I think that Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, I think that he knows the answer to that, but it just doesn't really feel like his place to actually answer that question, and that's kind of where he leaves it vague and up to that interpretation for us fans as well. There's a lot more here to unpack throughout this article. As I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have it linked in the description and down below. I'm going to go ahead and make a part 2 to this video and unfold more and expand on more with it in a second part 2 video here on the channel. All the more reason to grab that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified for when that video comes out. Of course, we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button and join us here today. Of course, please, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions and theories in the comment section down below. What are you guys thinking about just Ahsoka Season 2, Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker in the Ahsoka show, Darth Vader, and every other behind the scenes snippet, details, and insights, teases that we just discussed here in today's video? I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.